Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. Let's start today's video off with some surprising news. After working together for 8 years, former Mr. Olympia Brandon Curry and Coach Abdullah are no longer working together. At the time of me making this video, Brandon has not put out an official statement. We don't know exactly why they split, but they are no longer working together. So just my thoughts about this. I think this may be a sign that Brandon Curry is just leaving Oxygen Gyms, in my personal opinion. With him splitting from Abdullah, I think it's very unlikely that he will be out in Kuwait, and he's probably going to get a coach here and just stay here for the end of his career. Brandon Curry doesn't have too much longer, whether it's 1 year or 3 years. We all know he's a big family guy and really hates to sacrifice their time going over to Kuwait training for the Mr. Olympia. But the only thing, I think Brandon did this a little bit late in his career. If he wanted to make a coaching switch, I think it would have been a great idea to do it maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But at this point, the only thing a new coach can really do is bring him in more conditioned, more detailed, but I don't think we're going to see an all-time best Brandon Curry at this age. But what was interesting about this post, Abdullah said when Brandon won the Mr. Olympia, he gave him 20% of the winnings and he didn't ask for it. But I just think that really shows the type of guy that Brandon is, to give his coach 20% of his Olympia check, and that was a pretty big one. But hoping for the best from Brandon, and I would like to see him with Patrick Tour. I'm not saying he's going to end up with Patrick, but I personally would love to see him work with Patrick. And let's switch over to the latest update of Hunter Labrada at 11 weeks out from the Italy Pro. And Hunter is definitely going to be ready in less than 11 weeks. I really hope that he decides to do a show before Italy. Why not go ahead and get that qualification, shut it down for a little bit, and then get into prep for the Mr. O. But this season, everything is looking good from Hunter Labrada so far. He's looking improved. Looks like he's not going to have a problem getting in shape. But the main thing when it comes to Hunter is just peaking on the day of the show, not coming in watery. But let me know what you guys think. I've been impressed with everything I've seen from Hunter this year. Now, in the next update of the day, at about 16 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia, we have some recent updates from Martin Fitzwater, winner of this year's Detroit Pro and second place at the New York Pro to Nick Walker. Martin has high expectations at this year's Olympia. He wants to place top 5. Is that possible? I definitely think it is. I'm not saying that Martin is going to win the Mr. Olympia, but I've said it before. He has a structure very similar to the top 2 guys in the world right now, and he also has a back to hang with the guys within the top 5. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring to this year's Mr. Olympia. Remember, Nick Walker was only 1 point ahead of him at prejudging and finals in New York. Now, next up, we have a recent update from the conqueror William Bonac, winner of this year's Impro Classic, and William will be competing again at the Portugal Pro, and Nathan Diasha will also be there. Portugal is going to be a very interesting show. I kind of always give you guys my early predictions, so I'll go ahead and do it again. I have William Bonac winning the Portugal Pro. Bonac beat Beirut. Beirut just beat Nathan. It's kind of simple bodybuilding math, but I'm really impressed with what William brought to that show. I'm one of the people that counted him out. And now that he's got a little bit of steam from winning that show, I think we're going to see an even better version of him in Portugal. And in the next update of the day, we have a recent update from Fooda, who still has not let us know when he is going to compete. But looking at his conditioning, is probably going to be pretty soon. And if what we're seeing on Instagram actually translates to the stage, this guy's going to be very dangerous. I don't want to disrespect any of the guys that are winning shows or placing high, but Fooda could have definitely held his own at least in these recent shows. But I'm excited to see this guy on stage. Now, next up, we have a recent update from Tonio Burton, who is currently the 8th best bodybuilder in the world. And Tonio's goal this year is simply to move up, whether it's 1 spot or 2 spots. But earlier in the year, Tonio placed second to Rafa Brandao at the Arnold Brazil. Then he took 3rd place behind Nick and Martin in New York. And then he won the Cali Pro to qualify for this year's Olympia. I bring that up because I think Rafa and Martin are probably the 2 guys he's going to be battling if he's talking about moving up at this year's Olympia. To me personally, Tonio, Rafa, and Martin, I believe those are the 3 guys that can really get into this 6, 7, 8, maybe even 5, 6, 7 slot. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? But just looking at Tonio's Instagram updates, reading his captions, this guy is really fired up for this year's Mr. Olympia. And Michael Crizzo, who placed 1 spot ahead of him last year, is not going to be there this year. But it's going to be a dogfight for the whole top 10 this year. Now let's switch over to a recent update of Marcelo De Angelis, Horse MD, who is currently in the offseason. And looking at his physique, I think it's unlikely that we see him hop on stage again this year. Now, as we know, he did not have the best showing at the Arnold Classic, and a lot of people are really hard on this guy, saying he's an Instagram bodybuilder still. Well, this Instagram bodybuilder did defeat Nathan Diasha at last year's Romania Pro, and Nathan has over 10 pro wins, with all due respect to Nathan. But at least to me personally, I think Marcelo has proved he can stand with some of the best guys in the world. He just had one bad showing. And now that Milos isn't working with Samson anymore, maybe he can pump a little bit more attention into Marcelo, Horse MD. Now in the next update of the day, we have a recent update from the future, Patrick Moore. And Patrick has actually been posting up more training videos and more physique updates than usual. I'm not sure exactly when he's going to compete, but I would not be surprised if it's later this year or even early next year. But it looks like he is gearing up to come back to the stage, and hopefully with some improvements. It looks like he has added some size. And I don't want to put any expectations on Patrick until we see him on stage, but we know this guy has all the potential in the world. Now let's switch over to classic physique. We have a recent update from Stephane Matala, who is currently 4 pounds over the weight limit for classic physique. Patrick Tour said they have not done any type of water manipulation or sodium manipulation, and obviously he is flat in this video. And honestly, Stephane's conditioning here is crazy, and this guy still has about 4 more pounds to lose. And you guys can kind of see here why I would really like Patrick Tour to work with Brandon Curry. He also coaches Keon Pearson, but I'm excited to see how this physique is going to look after he actually makes weight and carbs up, because I think he's going to look very, very impressive. Those crazy 3D muscle bellies with this crazy level of Patrick Tour conditioning. It's going to be exciting. But let's go ahead and wrap up today's video here with the archive of the day. You guys let me know in the comment section below, who is this legendary bodybuilder? And as always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. And if you have not done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.